We're live. Hello, it's Bill, the Knee Pain Guru. New shirts today. All excited about these. Let's see. Today, what are we going to talk about? We are going to talk about how I can scientifically prove. What are we doing? How I could scientifically prove my knee doesn't hurt. This was a question that came in from... Well, it was actually a thread that I went with D Nasty's Noise yesterday. He asked me, where's the scientific proof and logic? Why not show the method on a patient? And him and I went back and forth on a thread yesterday on the video that I created yesterday around the questions that he had. And they're valid questions. However, what ends up happening is that we begin to discover that there is a lack of trusting in what our body feels, a lack of understanding what to do with what our body feels. And that gets to a deeper issue, and which is ultimately why we have knee pain. You're dealing with knee pain, and this is how the nervous system works. When we have pain, the mind, the awareness focuses on the pain. Normal, natural response to the threat. The nervous system goes into a sympathetic state, a fight or flight state. The fight or flight state is the pain, the injury, the accident, the trauma, the surgery. It goes to the threat. And what ends up happening is now on the other side of that threat, we live with a mindset that we need to push through the pain, no gain. Pain is weakness leaving the body. And what ends up happening is now we're just locked in to the threat. And the more we try to push through the pain, the more we try to ignore what's going on with the body, we create a deeper disconnect, a greater disconnect with what's going on, and the pain gets worse. So the thread that I went through with D Nasty's Noise yesterday was beginning to get the awareness of what is not pain. And this is where comfort comes in. When we're focused on the pain, when we're dialing into the pain, we don't hear what isn't pain and experience something different than pain. And this is where, when we create comfort and begin to change the neurological signaling that's going on in the knee and in the leg, in the body, we have an experience on the other side of that. That kind of feels like, doesn't feel like I'm doing anything. It feels strange. I feel tingling, or I feel heat, or I feel cold. So when we change the neurological signaling from pain, or whatever your experience is, your languaging, how you describe what's going on with your knee, and we create comfort in that, your experience on the other side of that is there's going to be a quantifiable or qualifiable description that you have that is different than what you're currently experiencing. And I know this sounds like in theory, but our body does this on a daily basis. It constantly moves from a place of discomfort, pain, tension, to a place of comfort. You do that when you're sitting in a chair. You're leaning in a chair. You get your shoulder gets tired, your arm gets tired, you lean over to the other side, or what's going on in your back or your hips or whatever it is. We're constantly shifting and moving to a place away from the pain. And I know, I've heard this before, working with clients over the past couple decades, they would say, but it still hurts. And I'm like, I know. It would just be worse if you didn't move. So we got a couple questions coming in. And I'm going to address those in just a second. but I just wanted, and this is something that what D Nasty's Noise was asking me was, he's aware of the pain, of the discomfort in his knee all the time. And what is this comfort that I speak? It is gaining an awareness of something other than the experience he currently has all the time by changing the neurological signaling in working with the intrinsic movement of the knee joint. And it's one of those things that everyone's has a different experience of this. When you start creating comfort in your knee or another part of your body, it's going to be different for everybody. So what you have on the other side of creating comfort is what I work with clients on to guide them through that process of their body unwinding the neurological signaling that they have. Okay. Let's see. Real Captain asks, do you think weak glutes can lead to knee problems? Sure. And I wouldn't classify it as something being weak as much as something else is tight. That's what happens quicker. When we have an accident, injury, surgery, trauma, the neurology fires to tense up, to protect the body from an injury or a perceived threat. And when something fires and is really tight, something else isn't able to engage. So it can show up on a test as weak glutes. However, if we shut off what is firing too tight, then the body comes into balance without ever having to work on your glutes for weeks or months in order to strengthen them. It's kind of like taking your foot off the gas so the car goes. You don't have to hit the gas harder. You just need to take the foot off the brake. Okay. Let's see. Prince Daniel says, hello, please. My knee has been manipulated twice, but still can't bend it. And my knee cap doesn't move at all. Please, what can I do? Okay. What can you do? Action steps. And it's not strengthening the legs, especially if the knee's been manipulated twice. It's about changing the neurological signaling. Action steps you can take today is go down below this video. Sign up for my newsletter. I have, there's also a link down there if you'd like to have a consultation. We can talk and map out a complete strategy for what you have going on. Or you can sign up for my group coaching program, Knee Club. And there's some people out there that are like, it's all about the money for you. Well, this is my day job. This is what I do. I've been doing this for the past 2 decades. So the doctors, I mean, you got to pay them. You got to pay the physical therapist. There's a balance of energy. Look at it that way. And what I'm bringing to the table is 2 decades worth of experience of working with myself first and then with clients, working with thousands of clients over the past couple decades. So I'm bringing something to the table that the docs and the PTs aren't, because it's working with a completely different awareness and understanding of what's going on in your neurology. If that doesn't work for you, that's cool. Not a big deal. Good luck with your knee. Okay, let's see. The real captain. I have knee pain, but still have 90% range of motion. Okay. And that consequently what happens with a lot of people. They have the range of motion. They still have pain. What ends up happening over time, because of that dysfunctional neurology that's going on with the knee that's causing the pain, there's nerve irritation on some level. And that nerve irritation causes the joint to tense up. When the joint tenses up, it squeezes out the synovial fluid in the joint, making it difficult for the joint to lubricate itself in certain areas. And that's where you'll start getting a diagnosis of arthritis. And then the joint begins to wear. And that left unchecked long enough, that ends up with a bone-on-bone situation, and the doctors are telling you you're a perfect candidate for a knee replacement. Deal with it as long as you can, and then we'll go and have a knee replacement surgery where we cut off the bones in your leg and replace it with plastic and metal. Now, that sounds like a over dramatic explanation of what's going on, but that's the game plan. That's the book. That's the strategy for the Western medical model, especially for knee joints. Starts out with knee pain, and we have that mentality of focusing on the pain. I could push through the pain, no pain, no gain. Pain is weakness leaving the body. That builds up in the neurology over time, accidents, injuries, surgeries, traumas. The joint begins to wear, gets worse, dehydrates, gets worse, continues to wear, and then that's what happens down the road. It's not like it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. Let's see. Prince Daniel says, please, my knee has been manipulated twice and my kneecap does not move at all and it really hurts. Please, what can I do? Okay, what part of going down below this video, signing up for the newsletter, scheduling a time for a consultation, or signing up for my group coaching program is unclear? If you could enter that in there, I'd be curious, because ultimately you have to take action steps and do something different, because there's tons of people that, and that's what happens when the neurology tenses up, when the body goes into a sympathetic state, it tenses up, it doesn't want to move. When it doesn't want to move, scar tissue builds up. The joint begins to you can't move it because it hurts too much. Scar tissue builds up. The doctor's strategy for that is to put you under anesthesia, render you unconscious, and bend the knee to break up the scar tissue, which is a further trauma. It's a further threat to your neurology. It doesn't work. You've tried it twice. If you want to continue doing that, well, then you know what to expect. What I'm offering is something different, something unique, something that you're not going to find anywhere else. So if what I suggested going down below in the description of this video is not, if that isn't clear that that is something you can do to help yourself, I'm not sure what else to say. If there are more questions, please ask those. And if not, then I will wrap up the call. Here's what you could do. You can go to the kneepainguru.com. Once again, I got a newsletter. I send out emails every day, one email per day, and it begins to change your mindset, because this requires you to have a different mindset. It isn't like I can give you one little thing here, a tip, a trick, a suggestion, and it's going to make a big difference, especially if you've had pain for months, years, or some people even decades. They continue to suffer for decades. And then they're like, what supplement can I take? Oh, what if I drink bone broth, will that make a big difference? What stretches do I do? What exercises do I do? It's not enough. You got to own this part that a little bit, like a little Dixie cup full of water on a forest fire is not going to make any difference. You have to get that. You have to get your mindset around that what you're doing isn't working. You have to do something different. What do we got here? Giovanni Sanchez. Is there a way to regrow my cartilage in my bone-on-bone arthritic knee and also have an EOAD brace unloaded that does help straighten up the bones in the knee over time if I lose weight? So Giovanni, it's a legit question, but my question to you is, would you care what your diagnosis was of arthritis and bone on bone if you didn't have any pain or restriction in the knee? Simple question. Would you care? Most people, 999 out of 1,000, would say no. If their knee didn't hurt, if they didn't have any restrictions in how they moved, they wouldn't care what their diagnosis was. The diagnosis is there for the doctor, so when they prescribe something, they're legally liable to make that diagnosis. Otherwise, they can't prescribe anything. And what I'm suggesting is when we zoom out and we look at the whole reason for going to the doctor to begin with, is to determine if anything is broken or torn in the knee. It doesn't sound like anything is broken or torn in the knee. The whole focus is on the diagnosis. We get locked into the diagnosis on how to fix the diagnosis. But if we look at, are we living our life the way we want? No pain, no restriction in range of motion. Do you care what the diagnosis is? So that's a key component in understanding what we're doing here. Because my focus is on creating comfort in the knee, changing the neurology, getting you back to the life that you want to live, getting it functional the way you want to live it. And as long as there's nothing broken or torn in the knee, there shouldn't be any problems in terms of you being able to do it, or at your body being able to do it. Now, your belief system, your willingness to put in the work and time, energy, and effort that it would take to change the neurology in your body so you can enjoy your body the way you like to, that's a different conversation. But that isn't a function of your body's ability to heal itself. So, I mean, I know these are tough questions. Like, I get it. It causes you to think and have to look deeper into your motivations for things and why you do things. And some people want to go down that route. They're happy with the drugs, the shots, the surgery, the physical therapy. They want to do that. And that's okay. I don't poo-poo the idea. It just, if that's what you want, rock on with your big bad self. But in terms of changing direction and going in a way that allows you to continue to increase your quality of life as you get older and you're not replacing joints. Because it's happened in my own family. They get the knee replaced and then they have to get the other knee replaced in a few years because now that knee is compensating. And then they eventually have to get the hips replaced. The hip gets replaced, and now the tension is going into the shoulders. The shoulders get replaced. Like, if you want to roll like that, that's more power to you. I just, in my mind, in the way I want to live my life, choose to live my life, it is in a way that I continue to feel more and more empowered every day. I have a deeper understanding and awareness of what's going on in my body every day. And that's what I work with my clients on, to pass that information on of what I learn, figuring it out for myself, figuring it out working with clients, and then give you tools to empower you with the knowledge and understanding of your own body. Because you need to experiment with this and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And it all starts with creating that foundation of comfort, creating that foundation of a different neurological signaling that feels better. And once we create that foundation and we move from that point, then we have to pay attention to what is causing your knee to go back into pain, your hip or your back to go back into pain. and then use the tools that we created with that foundation to get you back to that baseline of comfort all the time, and then continue to move forward from there. So it's not for everyone, not meant to be for everyone. Anyhow, that's what I got. No more questions are coming in at this point. You want to know what to do next? Go down below the video, sign up for the newsletter, schedule a consult if you like it, join Knee Club. Knee Club takes place on Mondays and Thursdays. There's a private Facebook group. We meet on Zoom calls. It's in a group format. You tell me what's going on with your knees. I give you specific videos that are pre-recorded. You go check it out. Check out those videos. You work with your knees in that way. And then the next time we meet, you tell me what you noticed. What was different? What moved? What changed? Did the pain move? Did the pain change? Did it get worse? Did it get better? And then we continue to dial it in to make sure your body we create more comfort. Your body has the resources it needs to heal itself, and you keep your mindset in a good place that you aren't self-sabotaging. Simple, not easy, simple. Anyhow, I'm going to scoot. Thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for listening. This is Bill Paravano, the Knee Pain Guru, signing off for today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next one.